Chapter 8 Rainboom's Mutant Tussle. A week passed since the Rainbooms started their training with Splinter and the Turtles. To the mutants' surprise, the girls were progressing very well in their ninja skills. So well, in fact, they had finally gained weapons to fight with. In the training area, each of the Rainbooms were practicing with their new gear. Rainbow Dash was twirling around a Nagata spear, much like how Donnie uses his bow staff in combat. She swung her weapon around, beheading 4 dummies with the sharp spearhead.
Oh yeah!
She stood proudly with her weapon at her side. Applejack was doing some ninja moves, while on her hands was a pair of ninja shuku hand claws, while strapped to her feet were a pair of ashiku. She delivered some punches and kicks on a practice dummy, putting tears in it from the spikes on her weapons.
Yeehaw! That's how you do ninja cowboy style.
Applejack said with the tip of her hat. Pinkie Pie was wielding a Bakuha Sugama, while holding one end of the chain and spinning the sickle on the other end.
Yippee!
Pinkie cheered as she maneuvered with her weapon. Rarity was maneuvering with 2 sickle weapons in the same style Zephyr handles his butterfly knives. When she finished spinning with them, she crossed them in front of her.
Beauty can also be deadly, darlings.
Twilight was twirling her weapon, being a Kamayari, before aiming the weapon at a training dummy and striking it. She thought to herself,
Wow, I had no idea I could be this good with a weapon. If Shining Hummer could see me like this, would he be shocked?
She giggled in her thoughts. Sunset Shimmer rolled onto the scene of the dojo and flung all around her kunai weapons, which nailed several targets with a bullseye.
Yes!
Sunset cheered. Finally, Fluttershy was holding a Fukadake blowgun. She held the weapon up to her mouth and blew into it, shooting a dart out of the other end. The dart nailed the bullseye of the target, and Fluttershy shot a few more targets, nailing it.
I did it!
Fluttershy cheered. The Turtles, April, Casey, and Splinter were watching them from the side, along with Spike, who was now wearing a Hachimaki headband tied around his forehead with the symbol of the Hamato clan on it.
Now this is a show!
Casey said as he enjoyed the performance.
I know.
Spike agreed and spoke to Splinter.
And thanks for hooking me up with this awesome headband, Sensei.
My pleasure, Spike. Wear it in honor of my clan.
I will.
Spike confirmed as he continued to watch the girls practice.
Yame!
Splinter called as the girls ceased their practice.
Wow! What a workout!
Rainbow said in excitement.
That sure got me all pumped.
Applejack said while wiping off the sweat off her forehead.
I do feel kind of guilty having a weapon in my hands.
Fluttershy said in guilt.
Fluttershy, these are to help us in our inevitable fight against the Dazzlings and the Shredder forces.
Sunset spoke.
Sunset Shimmer is right.
Twilight agreed.
Plain ninja training alone won't help us protect ourselves and each other from enemies like those footbots. And if the Dazzlings are with the Shredder, then there's no doubt that they're learning the same as we are.
Rainbow added.
So we have to make sure we're learning just as hard as they are.
Applejack put in.
Which means it's time for your night training.
Raph said.
Oh yeah, boy!
Mikey cheered as the group prepared themselves for their ninja run. Meanwhile, in Shredder's lair, inside the throne room, Shredder sat down in his throne until the door opened as Razor, Fishface, Rocksteady, and Bebop stood.
Bradford, Zever, Steranko, Zek, enter.
Shredder ordered. The 4 mutants entered as Rocksteady spoke. What is it you summoned us for, Shredder?
Stockman has told me that he's close to recreating the dazzling gemstones, but they themselves are still in their ninja training with Karai.
Shredder began.
I want you 4 to go out and find the turtles. I have my hunches the girls known as the Rainbooms will be with them.
Why do you want us to grab them, Master?
Fishface inquired.
If we have them in our grasp, the turtles will do whatever it takes to get them back. Meaning, they will play right into our hands. I trust you 4 can accomplish this.
He squinted his eyes at them. Absolutely, Master. Razor confirmed. Yeah, boss man! We'll get to those girls! Bebop promised.
Then get going, and do not fail me.
Shredder warned them as the 4 left. Meanwhile, out in the city, The Turtles, the teenagers, and Spike were doing their ninja run atop the roofs of New York. The Turtles watched as the Rainbooms were finally able to keep up with their speed after so much training with them.
Yeah! Feel that breeze in your face!
Rainbow cheered as she ran across the rooftop.
Time to jump! Ah.
Raph called as they jumped from one edge of the roof to another building.
If this were the Olympics, we'd win gold!
Pinky said. Finally, the group stopped for a breather as Leo spoke.
Good job, girls. Your pace has improved since our last run.
With all that training we've gone through, it better have.
Rarity said with a pant.
Can we head back now? I'm getting hungry.
Pinky whined.
Me too.
Mikey added as he and Pinky gave Leo and Twilight puppy doggers. Leo sighed.
Alright, let's head back.
The group was relieved and were about to leave. Suddenly, Spike froze and started growling. Twilight and the others looked at him in concern.
What is it, Spike?
We got company!
Spike answered as he kept his tough dog look up. The group stood their ground until they were almost hit by lasers. They each jumped aside before spotting the 4 mutants accompanied by some footbots. Nice night, isn't it? Razor chuckled. The Rainbooms were shocked about seeing the mutants they were told about up close.
Leo? Are these really...
Twilight began.
Yeah, Shredder's goons.
Leo confirmed. We've come for the Rainboom girls. Rocksteady began. So hand them over, if you know what's good for you. Yee-hee! Bebop called.
Otherwise, we're going to have to do it the hard way.
Fishface finished as he armed himself with his balisword.
Not happening, Sushi Lips.
Rainbow said as she pulled out her Nagata she now carried strapped to her back.
You want us? Come and get us.
Applejack said as she readied her hook claws. As the rest of the Rainbooms, April, Casey, and the Turtles armed themselves, Razor called out, "Attack!" So, the mutants and the footbots went in on the attack against the heroes. As the Rainbooms, Casey, and April handled the footbots, the Turtles faced off against the mutants, with Leo against Razor, Donnie against Bebop, Raph against Fishface, and Mikey against Rocksteady. The Turtles fought the mutants like they always had, while the Rainbooms took glances to see how well the 4 ninjas really managed against the mutants. The girls fought the footbots using all of their training experience and the skills with their weapons to disarm them and break them apart. As Rainbow jabbed her spear into a footbot's head and broke it off,
Oh yeah!
she looked over and saw Mikey was starting to get overpowered by Rocksteady. She swung her weapon, making the footbot head fly, and hit Rocksteady in the side of the head. Rocksteady looked over. Rainbow hair, girl gonna get it! He readied his hook and hammer weapon, only for Mikey to jump back in and take control of the fight. As Leo and Razor went at it, the zombie dog mutant was slicing at Leo with his claws, and the turtle used his swords to block him. You must have been training these girls well, if they're lasting this long against the footbots, Razor admitted.
Maybe your bots just aren't cutting it like they used to.
Leo mocked. Leo was struggling to block the mutant only for the two to hear barking. They looked down and saw Spike growling at Razor. The big dog mutant laughed. Oh, this is cute. What are you gonna do, pup? Bore me to death? He laughed. Spike, taking advantage of Razor's laughing moment, bit him on the leg. Razor yelped and tried shaking Spike off. Get off of me, you mutt!
Leave Spike alone!
Leo called as he struck Razor after Spike let go of him.
Thanks, Leo.
Spike said.
Thanks yourself.
Leo smiled. Bebop was moving around in his dance styles while firing blasts from his laser belt, all the while making his cheers and ranting sounds. Yee-hee! Donnie was jumping around while using his bow staff to block his laser shots.
You're seriously getting on my nerves.
Donnie called as he whacked on Bebop. Oh, you did not just hit me, fool! Bebop called as he launched an energy mohawk at Donnie, who jumped away, avoiding the attack. Rarity noticed Bebop's attack.
Attacking with his hair? That's quite a move.
Fishface was, as always, going toe-to-toe with Raph, with neither one holding back.
Come on, Fishface. Show me what you got.
Raph mocked.
I'll make you regret that.
Fishface warned him as they continued to fight. Fluttershy, seeing Raph looking like he needed help, came to his aid. She aimed her blowpipe at Fishface's behind and blew into it, launching a dart into his butt.
Boom! Ouch!
Fishface groaned before looking at Fluttershy, who was holding her weapon.
Good. You have made a big mistake.
He ran to Fluttershy, who looked scared.
Fluttershy, move!
Sunset called. Fluttershy tried to run, but Fishface was about to strike. The fish mutant was interrupted as Pinkie Pie jumped in.
Booyakasha!
She swung her chain half at Fishface, which wrapped around his sword, and swung him, making him crash into a vent.
Nice one!
Mikey cheered.
Everyone, fall back.
Leo ordered.
Let's see how these work.
Pinkie said as she pulled out one of the turtle's custom-made smoke bombs.
Catch you later.
She threw it down, releasing the smoke, allowing the group to escape. The mutants groaned as Bebop spoke. So, what do we do now, yo? We find them and crush their shells, Razor answered. Meanwhile, the group had taken cover in an abandoned building.
Everyone alright?
Leo asked.
I'm good.
Twilight answered.
Same here.
Applejack added.
That was quite a debacle.
Rarity noted.
That was nothing.
Donnie replied.
You girls sure held your own against those creeps.
Casey said with a smile. The girl smiled until Raph scowled at Fluttershy's direction, which the girl noticed and looked worried.
What's wrong, Raph?
What's wrong?
Raph asked in outrage.
I'll tell you what's wrong. You got in my way!
The group looked shocked at Raph's outburst.
What?
Fluttershy asked in confusion.
I had things under control, but you had to avert Fishface's attention, making him come after you!
Raph scolded her.
I was only trying to help.
Fluttershy said, feeling on the verge of tears.
Well, I didn't need it!
Raph snapped.
Hey, who do you think you are talking to her like that?
Twilight demanded as she got into Raph's face.
Step off, princess!
Raph warned her.
Raph, take a chill pill.
Casey broke it up.
Yeah, Fluttershy was trying to help.
Yeah, dude. Could have the heart to show some appreciation.
Mikey added, only for Raph to glare at him.
I'll appreciate it if she doesn't get in between me and my opponent next time!
Fluttershy started to cry.
I'm so sorry. It won't happen again.
She turned tail and ran out while covering her face.
Fluttershy.
The girls cried before looking back at Raph with anger.
You're a big jerk, Raphael.
Sunset frowned.
Your brothers are right about you having an out-of-control temper.
Rarity said in a huff.
Come on, girls. Let's go find Fluttershy.
Twilight said as they hurried after her. Casey and April turned to Raph equally disappointed.
Real smooth, Raph.
Casey said as they two followed.
Come on, guys.
Leo said before looking at Raph.
You better stay back, unless you want to make her cry some more.
He and Donnie went on ahead before Mikey looked back at him.
Sorry, Raph.
And Raph just stood there, alone, watching everyone leave, as his look of frustration turned into a look of guilt.
Way to go, Mr. Tough Guy.
He said to himself.